Oh, there she comes. There she comes. That's a big one. Golly, that's a big one. Hey guys, man, welcome back to the channel. I want to talk to you today about wind. You know, fishing in the wind can be a big challenge. You know, through the years, I figured out a few little things that help me deal with the wind. And today we got wind, 20, 30 mile an hour wind. It's just crazy how hard it's blowing. So we're gonna flip some standing timber. I'm gonna talk to you about fishing in the wind.
From the top of the mountain, yeah, we fought our way up to the top of the mountain. Yeah, we fought our way up to the top of the mountain. Yeah, we never coming down from the top of the mountain.
Come on out there. Man. Oh, there she comes. There she comes. That's a big one. Golly, that's a big one. That is a big one. Come here, baby. Come here, baby. Come here, baby. Holy smokes. Looky there, boys and girls. Wow! Yes, that is so awesome. Man, that hook just fell out. Just fell out. What a beautiful fish. Man, what an awesome fish. How about that? Heck yes, we can catch some fish in the wind. And you guys have been after me to weigh these things. I'm gonna weigh that fish. Golly, that's a good one. That's a good one. Let me just get this thing zeroed and just weigh this puppy. See what she weighs and we'll get her back in the water. All right, it's zeroed out. It's a big old girl. Fun to catch right there. All right, guys, what do y'all think? 6'4", 6'4" right there. Can you see it? She will go to 6'4". Awesome, awesome, what a fish. Thank you. That was a good one. That's a way to start the Project E right there. 6-pounder, 6-pounder. Yes. Hey, something really important to take away from that fish catch, man. I was over that branch and I did not get in that seesaw battle that a lot of people get. You know, that's what'll break your line. You know, I just hold it tight. If that fish takes off swimming, I let it swim. If it gives me slack, I take it back. The worst thing I can do in that situation is just pull with all my might, because that's how I'll break my line, especially on a 6-pounder. How about that? Let's catch another one. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check the line after that, because that old 6-pounder put a working on it. I would have to say that is probably the biggest mistake an angler can make. It's just not to take the 30 seconds it takes to retie. You know, it can be so costly. You know, yeah, obviously right there's a great time to retie because I just caught that fish, but you will see me throughout all my tournament fishing, throughout my Project E's. You know, I just don't ever want to break a fish off, you know, and I always say control the controllables. You know, control the things you can control. Retying is one of those things that I can control. This is where I get in trouble. I am throwing at a 90 degrees to the wind. So now I've got a big bow in my line. You can't feel your bait, you can't feel the bite. It's just, that's a recipe for disaster. Oh, there's something tapping on it. Like I said, a recipe for disaster. Try to keep it north and south, Edwin. When the wind's really gassing like this, I use my power poles a bunch. I'll just get in position, I'll lock them down, get everything set up before I even ever pitch my bait into a standing tree. There's the bite. not very big. And he had me under the under that stick, and I thought, I don't know. You know, I'm flipping 25-pound fluorocarbon, and I just tie a Palomar knot. I'm really careful to pull that tag in. You know, don't heat the main line up any, but it works fine for me when I'm flipping 25-pound line. Man, that is so typical of spawning fish. You know, I felt him bump it, bite it, push it, something, and I just left that bait in there a little bit longer, and then he ate it. Oh, that was right underneath the boat. I noticed that log ran to me, and I just kept working it towards the boat, working it towards the boat. That is crazy to me. I ran out of my baits, the color I was using, and so I've tried a bunch of other stuff, and it has to be a size deal, because I had some other baits that was real similar in color that were bigger, you know, the 5-inch power hog, and I have flipped a half a mile and have not caught one. I don't. It's just a profile of the bait. I guess the point to take away from that, if you're not getting bit, put a different bait on, put a smaller profile on. You know, those bass that get keyed into something that they're feeding on or protecting an area, and it's a size deal. That's a good one. That's a good one. Come here, buddy. Come here, buddy. White. I mean, that fish has just moved up here. Look how white that thing is. Huh. It's got a gill, been caught before. Cool fish. Thanks, bud. Got my bait. We're about 2 trees in with the right size bait and 2 bites. That is amazing. I can just go back right through all that stuff I just went through. I got stuff, all the different stuff I tried, I got stuffed up in here. He's got the old tail walk dance down, doesn't he? This is crazy to me, have all those bites now that I've gone to a smaller bait. One thing about it, you can see him peeing right there. They always say that's a deal when fish are spawning, they're peeing. Just come right in the boat. Man, that's fun. That is fun. I just love it. I would have to say, you get asked all the time what your favorite way is to catch them. Man, something about I love about flipping. I don't know what, I like it a lot. I like it a lot. It's just that hook set and that moment of impact, and you just don't know how big it's gonna be, and it's fun. It's fun. And I call it flipping, you know, I'm wrong in that. It's actually pitching. You know, flipping is a fixed line technique. Pitching is where, you know, the line's coming off the reel as I'm throwing it out there. It's just, you know, flipping was invented by D. Thomas way back when, and you know, that's flipping. You never add any line to it. You know, pitching is the actual reel's disengaged and you're letting the line out. You know, we're here on Lake Falcon, and this thing has warmed up tremendously. There was a giant tilapia kill. You know, this water got down in the low 40s just less than 2 weeks ago. I posted a picture on my social media, and just the bank was 8 to 10 foot deep of dead tilapia. You know, but with that said, they've also had a week and a half of really warm weather, and bam, these fish are all up here spawning, you know, so we're just pitching around in these stumps, just taking our time, you know, trying not to tear nothing up with all this wind we got blowing. You know, just, I think these fish are really close to spawning, if not spawning. There's a bite. Oh, that might be a better one. Golly. Man, they're mean. He's a cool looking fish. And I have gone a ways without a bite. You know what I'm figuring out here. Oh, he's heavier than I thought he was. What I'm figuring out here is these fish are more on the points. You know, so many times in the spring, it's all about the bottom. You know, what is the bottom made of, you know, for these fish to spawn? You know, you've got to have a firm, hard bottom. And, you know, I think I got out here in the middle and got just kind of just a soft bottom. You know, and one of the best things to do is just to stick your power poles down or take your rod tip and just feel what that bottom's like. It's still a little soft. It may be hard over there, but I do that a lot, you know, in the spring just to see what kind of bottom I've got if I don't know. Getting back into them, it looks like. Chunky little bass. That just looks like probably a male. Man, a lot of these fish have got these black marks all over them. That's cool. You know, one thing about it in the spring, you know, you've got to make multiple pitches. You know, that time there, I just think it's so critical. You know, like most of the time when I'm pitching and flipping timber or stumps, I'm always thinking about the shade. I'm thinking about being really close to it. You know, during the spawn in the spring, I'm thinking about the bed, and the bed could be anywhere. You know, it could be the size of this boat. So I'll work my bait a lot further away from the cover. You know, that bite right there, it was 5 feet this side of that tree, you know. So keep that in mind. You know, if you feel like those fish are up spawning, work your bait out a little further than you normally would. One thing I've noticed in the spring is there's stretches. There's stretches these fish pull up to spawn. And it's gotta be a bottom composition thing. It's just such a critical component. For them to have a successful spawn, they've gotta have good bottom. And you know, I've gone today and I've gone 200, 300, 400 yards without getting a bite, and then bam, I'll get 3 or 4 bites just back to back to back to back. So keep that in mind. If you get a bite, power pole down, anchor down, slow down walking, whatever it is you're doing, and really fish that area good. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Golly. Golly. Holy smokes, that is so much fun. That is so much fun. Come here, fish. Come here. Come here, come here, come here. Oh. I gotta tell you guys, I really messed up. I threw slack to my line when I went to set the hook. Man, that fish thumped it so hard. I threw slack to my line, but still, what an awesome fish. Golly, that's fun. That is so much fun. All right, buddy. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. There she goes. Hey, let's take that time right there after letting that fish go. Let's just break my gear down, the power stop breakdown right here. I've got a 7.6 heavy action rod, Johnny Moore's Platinum Series, 8 3-to-1 gear ratio reel. I think that's really critical. A little too critical, because don't do what I just did. I threw slack to it. Like, I mean, I had that bite and I like dropped my rod and then I set the hook. I should have just reeled down and got it tight. That's how you explode stuff and break line and all that stuff. But now to the hook. I've just got a 4/0 Berkeley Fusion hook. I've got a critter hog, a Berkeley Max Scent critter hog. Seems super critical, man, because I tried a bunch of other stuff, bigger baits, couldn't get any bites. And then when I went back to that smaller profile, I started getting a lot of bites. 25-pound fluorocarbon, and as you guys know, I like putting a little clacker in there. That's just a Bass Pro tungsten 3/8 ounce weight. Got a Palomar knot. I've already taken all the sheathing off my hook right there, but that's the setup. You know, one other thing that I put on my rods, I put this cushion right here. This thing's super soft, super cushiony, and it'll float my rod. I can throw that sucker out there and it'll float all the way to, you know, the other side of the lake. So it's just a, man, when you're setting the hook on your ribs, that's a pretty cool deal right there to have that on there. That's such an important part of a Palomar knot. You know, a lot of people might cinch that thing down right there, but this loop right here, it's critical that that flips over. If that flips over, that's a strong knot. If you pull that down with it right there, that's a bad knot. That will cut back into itself. It's not good. So make sure you always flip that loop over on your Palomar knot. It should all sit up on top of it. Important too to wet it. So I got it wet, and then I'm gonna pull that tag end right there. Oh my goodness. Golly, I couldn't catch up with that fish. That's why it's so critical to have that 8:3-to-1 gear ratio reel. Golly, it's a good one. It is just so much fun. These fish are so mean. Holy smokes. Oh, come here, buddy, come here, buddy, come here, buddy. Oh, they don't give up. Yes, yes, yes. Look at that fish. Oh, I love them. I love them. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Man, I've had a lot of fun down here on Falcon. You know, you think back to all the trips with Matt Reed and just all the fishing trips I've had down here. It's an awesome place. Thanks, buddy. Thank you, thank you. Man, it's just like that episode where all those fish were spawning on the points and I'm catching them on that stand-up worm and that Carolina rig. These fish are spawning on points, but just on timber. You know, it's just really similar, and it just all boils down to that bottom composition being a little bit harder. I'm just curious what it's like right there. Oh yeah, see, that's hard bottom right there. Big difference, big difference. That's why they're there. We are running out of baits. That is a good thing. When you got your old tackle webs right here, and you got a whole bunch of empty bags in it that are all empty. Means you've been catching some fish. Man, I think it's critical in the spring, you know, couple things. If you feel like a fish is there, make multiple casts, you know, left side, right side, down the middle, behind it, in front of it, and then don't get in a hurry. You know, bedding fish are notorious, just, it takes a while sometimes to get a bite, especially a big bite. So think about those two things. If you feel like you've got that water temperature, you know, between 60 and 70 degrees and fish are spawning, slow down a few gears and make some extra pitches towards where you think a bass might be. Golly, they're wild, aren't they? I mean, they're just like on steroids wild. This is crazy. And then he just stops. He's like, camera shy, camera shy. It's a chunky fish. He's got the old peeing going. I'd say they're spawning. You know, one great thing about the wind, if there is a positive about it blowing 20 to 30 miles an hour, I pretty much got this place to myself. I mean, if you want to find a positive in it, if you can withstand all this wind, you know, you might have the lake to yourself because it's pretty brutal out here. That's a nice one. Oh yeah. Golly, they're strong, aren't they? Holy smokes. Golly. Yo. Come here, buddy. Come here. Come here, come here. I'm getting us all wet. Yes, 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 what a fish. Oh, that's so much fun. Golly. That's a big one, isn't it? Oh man, we've had a fun day. We have had such an awesome day. I don't know what else to say. Hey, I'm gonna take you to the map. I wanna show you exactly what I figured out today on the map. And I'm gonna take you back there. I'm gonna show you on the map exactly where these fish were. So hopefully you can duplicate it wherever you're at, because it was very precise where these fish were at today. All right, guys, man, what a day. This is what we figured out right here. You know, when you zoom out, this is a Little Tiger. You know, and the wind's just whipping, but it's really the only area, you know, I could go get out of the wind. Started right here, and when I got to this point, I caught a those first few fish. Fish. Got to that next point, caught a few fish. Fish, nothing. I got over here to this big rounded point. That's where those fish came. So it was definitely, those fish are spawning on those points because that's the hardest bottom. You know, that's gonna give them the most success rate to spawn. So when you guys come back here and you try to break down just this big mass of timber, you know, start on these points. You know, that was the key today. Start right there. It was really good fishing. You know, it's just a harder bottom around that point. There was a big flat there of the right depth, but that'd be the place I'd start right there. Guys, I can't thank you enough for watching. I had a lot of fun today. It was just, I love catching fish flipping, and especially when they're big. So appreciate all the support, appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you next week.